This is Radio Free Cybertron, episode 862. I am Brian Kilby. With me, we have the full complement of folks, starting with Don in an orange shirt. Or is that a red shirt?
It's red. I wanted to wear something a little Christmassy since this is our last show before the holidays.
It was the podcast before Christmas. Matt's here. So festive. Diecast.
Yes. The podcast before Christmas. No one was listening. Not even a mouse.
That's not true.
No.
That's not true. Chris.
That's a very bad thing to say, Diecast.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You'll jinx us.
Hello.
So I did screw up last week's episode and only post it to one of our feeds. It got deselected from our... so for people listening, we have a couple of different feeds out there. We have one called All of Our Transformers Podcasts, where back when we did many shows, we had many podcasts in that feed. Then we have just the Radio Free Cybertron feed. Now they both basically have the same amount of content, but I can't get rid of one because, it would stop going to that feed. So I just went to one this week. So if you are listening now and you didn't see episode 861, it's in your feed. So, but yeah, people are listening, or I wouldn't do it. I do love talking to you guys. Actually, I question that sometimes. Like, what if the podcast stopped? Or what if there was like a podcast virus and then like all the most podcasts died? Like, would we still get together on Wednesdays to chat? Like
this just sounds like a weird lead into the Planet of the Apes, because that's how like the classic Planet of the Apes came about.
I'm thinking more like Max Headroom, but instead of television, it was podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would I be Max Headroom then?
I don't know. So we're approaching 2024.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I know. Not next week. I guess the week podcast after next, 864, will be our 2023 year in review. But that starts our 25th year.
Oh, don't say it out loud.
We're approaching your 25th anniversary.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I know.
Man, you guys are old. I've only been here for like 10.
Yep.
Hey, I'm still the youngest one here.
Yeah.
But you've been on the show for over twice as long as me, so.
Yeah.
So, like,
I can feel it too.
When we started back, it was like, oh, there's a couple of years when we didn't have an episode because that was like a quiet period, and it's like, like no episodes period, and it's like, like that felt bad and weird and such. Like now, that's so long ago, like nobody cares. I don't care.
Yeah.
Anymore. We're approaching 1,000 episodes. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so actually, so it is approaching Christmas. So thank you to everybody who participated in Elf on a Shelf Warmer. If you haven't dropped off your toys, I don't know what to tell you. Like here, all of the Toys for Tots boxes are gone. I mean, if you do have toys that you want to donate, there are local, local charities. I'm certain would love to take them. A homeless shelter, children's home. Just reach out to your local government for opportunities to donate. But, this is something that we should do year round. It's not just something we should do at Christmas. So
they just make it the easiest for us at Christmas.
They do make it easy for us at Christmas. So, let's jump into the news. Peter Cullen receives a Lifetime Achievement Award, and it was presented by Frank Welker.
That's pretty cool.
And when we were talking about this before, we weren't sure if Frank Welker had received one himself, but he did in 2016.
Oh, he deserves it.
That's what makes it pretty cool that Frank, already has an award and he was able to give it to Peter Cullen. I mean, that just seems like a perfect scenario.
Yeah, I guess.
I watched a little bit of the video, and like it occurred to me I hadn't heard Frank Welker just like talk normally at much length previously, and I was surprised. Like, oh, so Galvatron was basically just Frank Welker talking in his normal voice, but acting crazy. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know that I have no idea what his actual voice is. So Diecast was like, that's fitting. And I'm sure they've maintained some sort of relationship. But a lot of these people, especially folks who haven't been a part of the movies, like Transformers was a job that they had a long time ago. And, for some folks, I mean, that are still alive, they did a Transformer once, and it might be iconic to us, but it was just a job.
Buster Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Peter and Frank at least see each other 2 or 3 times a year at conventions that they're both, featured at. So I know at least that way they still have a relationship.
I'm sure they seem like
do.
we. Go ahead.
And they did, of course, both work together on Transformers Prime as well. In his speech, I watched the speech, and in his speech, Peter Cullen basically said that in terms of people he's worked with, no one has ever made him laugh more than Frank Welker and Jonathan Winters. So, it's obvious that even if they don't work together all the time, he thinks very highly of them. So.
Yeah.
I mean, that's high praise. Jonathan Winters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm being serious, not sarcastic.
Yeah.
I can see Jonathan Winters being one of Don's favorite comedians.
I never was really exposed to him outside of Mork and Mindy, so I don't really have a lot of knowledge about his act.
He just seems like that's your shtick, or his shtick seems like it's your jam.
I've got a couple of favorite comedians, but Jonathan Winters never really. Paul Lynn is probably one of my favorite comedians because the man was just funny no matter what material you gave, whatever you gave him. And for people that
Red Skelton should totally be a Don thing.
Yeah, and if you don't know who Paul Lynn is, watch a couple. If you're over 18, watch a couple of Hollywood Squares.
I love Hollywood Squares. That's such. We should do a podcast version of Hollywood Squares with just Don in every square.
A Don from me from different points in my life. Let's see how that goes.
I mean, who knows what AI can provide us over the next couple of years? Maybe we can figure something out.
I'm not sure I want to know.
Yeah.
Donnet.
Yeah, Don. And, yeah, so, Chris, were you about to say something?
I don't remember anymore.
That is fine. Hey, so I got a note from Chris Triplett this week that more hisses or something might show up on Hasbro Pulse. And I got it like 3 hours after he sent it, and I had no clue what he was talking about. So apparently Hasbro Pulse put out some HasLab leftovers. Now, they keep stuff aside. They put stuff aside to fulfill like damaged items, broken parts, and such. So they don't want that inventory sitting there forever because it's not productive for them. So I guess after some point they're like, "Yeah, we can get rid of this." They sent me parts from my Unicron.
When they're closing a building.
Yeah,
are they closing a building
in Rhode Island?
Yeah, they're shutting down the Providence office, aren't they?
The Providence office. That's
yeah,
right.
Paul Tuck, yeah.
But that's so. When I've gotten items shipped to me from Hasbro Pulse, at least like for like replacing something, it's come from the Milton Bradley facility. So is that it? Is that the one in Providence? Maybe it is. So that would make sense.
Well, it's also possible. It's not clear what numbers there were for the things they had, but like with the Unicrons, we know that there was very, very few of them, like possibly just a few single digit of units. And that could have been stuff that they moved to the Massachusetts facility you're describing for shipment out, but that they had stored in the Providence offices. Or they're shutting down other like storage facilities they have alongside the office they're closing, and that information just was not worthy of the news coverage that closing down an office for layoffs is.
Yeah, the Milton Bradley facility is East Longmeadow, Mass. Yeah,
Yep.
You're right. Yep. Okay.
I mean, I'll be honest. I was hoping for his tanks because, like I said last week, I was not into classified when that was running, so it really didn't spark my interest. But I got a feeling if this was successful in moving the product they wanted to move, which judging by the sold outs, it was successful by that measure. No matter how few of a units it was still successful with them getting rid of product. So we might see this again down the road once all the more recent HasLabs giant man, the Hiss
It
tank.
depends on if there's anything left sitting around.
Right,
Right, exactly.
again, but
Complete items left. There's probably
right,
Yeah,
bits and
complete
pieces.
items.
Yeah.
right. So we may see this again, but
We may
it's
not.
going to be. We may not.
It'll be a
This-
while.
I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah.
I'm just so glad that there was no Sentinel on that list because that's the only thing that would have tempted me.
So
Yeah.
I have to say, this past weekend, I finally transformed Unicron.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
I absolutely hated it.
Okay, that's exactly what I expected.
I absolutely hated it because there are just so many. There's like at least 3 or 4 instances where there's just so much weight hanging off of like a point where it could break. There's like a pin holding like half of Unicron, like thinking back to like car robots or robots in the skies. You'll have like half a car hanging off of like a robot. So like half of Unicron's outer shell is like hanging off his back, and there's like one pin holding it in place, and it's so heavy, and I kept worrying that I was going to break it. There's so many panels where like the where it folds in that I was certain that I was going to cause like stress on the plastic. The legs, all the panels on the legs, it wasn't that bad. It's just hideous.
I don't think I've ever heard of anyone other than Diecast actually liking it.
It looks great once it's transformed. It is actually very impressive looking.
Yeah, but nobody ever wants to mess with it.
I don't.
Yeah. That's been the basically universal reception I've always been aware of.
Now that it's
I don't
transformed,
mess with it.
now that it's transformed, I'm glad I have it. I'm glad I have it transformed. It's just that if I had it to do over again and knew what that was going to be like, I wouldn't have bought it.
I wouldn't
Oh.
want to pay current prices on it. That's for
No.
sure.
No.
Brian Ness says Unicron isn't so bad when you do it 10 or 20 times, and he suggests that you just transform it a bunch more to get used to it. And I have no reason to think Ness isn't being completely sincere and forthright here with us, because that's totally in his character.
I did hear several people say when I was posting this on Twitter that they do it once a year and they feel a lot better about it. And like, if that's your thing, like for a lot of people, this is like the centerpiece of their collection. That's what it was designed to be.
Mhm.
And like, if this is like your pride and joy of your collection, like you probably would want to transform it, once a year and just enjoy it. For me, like the centerpiece of my collection is like my, St. Louis mini bots that don't
Right.
transform.
Yeah.
Like, I just like looking at them.
Well,
They don't- and I
I'm
don't-
glad.
not
I'm
transform
glad 3 or 4 more people got the chance to own it this past week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with Rusty. They should have made HasLab Unicron a one-step changer.
Yeah.
And if
Oh, that
you
would
want to
be fun.
interact with us live while we're recording the show, come to our Discord at tfradio.net/discord.
Yep.
We read from the Discord all throughout the show time. And of course, we've got a great community. So, like, come hang out with us anytime. It's always fun, chill place, great conversations. Come join us.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right, Brian, in that like I'm looking at him, he's not in a conventional place, but he is kind of a centerpiece. And I'd be hard pressed to say that he's not the biggest, most impressive piece in my collection.
You have that Optimus Prime, the
Yeah.
The
Yeah, he's
KO one.
up. Yeah. That's pretty big.
yeah.
That's about the size of Unicron, but I guess the way I have him displayed, he's kind of in the background on something, and he's not like a centerpiece. And Unicron is the way I have him placed. And yeah, I guess that would be my centerpiece.
He is on a shelf over my head. I had to lift him up to put him on the shelf. If he falls off, he's going to shatter.
Or he's
Or
going to
kill
break
you.
your
I was
head.
about to say,
Yeah.
or you are if he falls on you.
Yeah.
I used to have MP1 Optimus Prime on the shelf that was over my
That
bed,
would
and
absolutely
like,
kill you.
yeah, I was afraid a fair portion of the time. Like, what if that fell off of there? That probably would kill me in my sleep.
Yeah.
All that diecast will kill you.
Diecast. That's why I try to spend as little time with you as possible.
Aw.
Yeah, because see, he'll kill you, then he'll get the electric chair. So I mean, that's how that works.
So,
Okay, so it's a worthy sacrifice then, I guess.
so Chris Triplet is our pal. Chris Triplet's in the Discord right now. He says
Hi, Chris.
He feels bad that he hasn't transformed his.
Oh, don't.
So sell
At
it.
your leisure.
If you don't want to transform it,
Yeah.
sell it.
You know,
Well, I'm going to counter that just because I want to transform mine, but my vision for this downstairs, when I get the main wall, the main wall done, he is going to be middle main wall in front of the movie poster with in planet mode, because visually speaking, the planet mode is what visually screams Unicron.
Yeah. I'm with Dawn there. I would probably absolutely keep that thing. And
it's not that, and I want to. It's just in robot mode, he's not going to really do what I want him to do for that display.
But
he's got too much shell in robot mode too. Like
Yeah.
But it
folded
doesn't
up stuff.
it doesn't display well in the box, and Chris could sell that and buy a car.
not a good car.
No, but I mean, it would have wheels.
Easier to drive to work than Unicron. though.
It costs. I know inflation's a thing, but Unicron, he could sell it, and he could get 3 times what I paid for my first car, and 2 times what I paid for my second car. So,
Thinking on it some, I kind of wish they designed HasLab Unicron more like it was a pretender, where the planet was just a separate shell, and like the rings could be integral with the robot mode to form the wings, but like, you open up the back of the planet, and you slide the wadded up robot out and just unfold it, and then, I think that would have probably actually been on a lot of levels a more satisfying experience for a like high end Unicron.
They're saving that for HasLab Big Convoy.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And seriously, if you want a Unicron and you only were intending to display it in planet mode, just buy a beach ball and a hula hoop and commission an artist. It's going to be cheaper.
yeah.
I have mine in robot mode because I think, to me, that's what's impressive about Unicron. Like you really didn't get that impressive feeling.
I mean, he ate
until
a
you
planet
got that
at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, you got that transformation at the end of the movie, and that
which was spoiled in all the previous. Like, what is the secret of the monster planet? Gee, it's a giant hand. I wonder what that could be in a movie about transforming robots.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be a mystery that he transformed up until the end, and to Don's point, it was totally spoiled. And I wanted mine in robot mode as well, because to me, like, just him raising Cybertron is like one of the most iconic parts of that movie. But he can't do it with I guess if I had a Cybertron for him to like try to rip through, but
you got a Primus sitting around somewhere, I'm sure.
A couple.
If someone would take the Cybertron mold and do a upscale 4 times KO, then maybe that would work.
Yeah. Don, more importantly, what you put in the Discord, we need a HasLab prototype Unicron 1,000,000%. I would love to have that.
Yeah.
I mean, none of us, we've all ragged on reaction for a lot of different reasons, and some of it is valid, but that Unicron, that Unicron is beautiful. That prototype Unicron, standing there.
It's one of the best choices they've made. Yes.
Yeah. Definitely so.
It's the only one I've ever bought.
I just want Platinum Unicron. Like, that would be the ideal Unicron for my collection.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I would have to probably end up paying about what HasLab Unicron costs new to get a Platinum.
Was that the Amazon Unicron?
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost that much. I bought one recently. It's not that bad.
It's like, it's pretty expensive, though.
It's like 1/3. It's like 1/3 HasLab Unicron.
That's still pretty expensive, though.
It's too much for what it is.
Yeah.
It's too much for what it is.
Yeah.
I was telling my wife that I finally transformed this thing, and her question was, "How much did you pay for that again?" And I'm like, and I trailed off and changed subjects.
Well, what the correct answer to that question, though, is to tell her what it costs on the secondary market now.
Well, she would make me sell it.
Yeah, probably so. Well, the thing is, based on how you've described your experience with it, she would be right to tell you to sell it the same way you just told Triplet to
But
sell
then
his.
he'd have to transform it back
Yeah.
and put it
Yeah.
in the box.
Yeah.
Well, you could do what I did with one or two of the things I've sold over the years that I didn't want to have to transform, which is you list it for the price you want to sell it in the mode that it's in, and you add a note. If you want this in the other mode, I will transform it for you, but it's going to cost extra.
I
You
like
have
that.
to pay me to transform it.
That is smart. Like I on a couple of occasions, I'm pretty sure I gave things away or put them like in a McKay's pile so that I didn't have to transform it.
I sold Alternators Grimlock on eBay, so I wouldn't have to transform it again.
I never opened that, and I gave it to somebody at work.
It's a nice looking mold, but it just I really like the simpler end of alternators, like Hound and Skids, that you can actually transform without spending an afternoon.
And even Skids isn't that easy to transform, man.
No, still easier than Grimlock, but yeah.
It's a shame too about Grimlock because I love that body style of Mustang.
Yeah.
Like I loved what they did with that body style Ford, and like I really, really would have loved to have a Grimlock on that body, but like even as soon as that came out, people were like, "Just this is the worst thing I've ever tried to transform." To this date,
I have Grimlock. It was Jack's 3 paint that I gave away.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did we get here?
I don't know.
Well, Brian was talking about Unicron. I think that spun off of the HasLab resale.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, I'm gonna jump to this next one. Warner Discovery is interested or is merging with Paramount.
Or at least wants to.
They're in preliminary talks.
So, how this affects Transformers media, primarily. So Paramount has produced all of the Transformers movies, and what was the?
They will continue, and they will continue to do so.
And they own Nickelodeon.
Except they won't get released now and used as a tax write-off.
Yeah, that's okay. I would actually be fine with that.
And, no, we don't need that.
And Paramount owns Nickelodeon. Is that right?
Viacom owns Paramount, and Viacom owns Nickelodeon.
Yes,
I believe is how that works.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So
something to that effect. There is a connection between them through like other companies that have been merged together over the last like 25 years.
I'll be honest. I don't care what it means for Transformers media. Like when it comes to movies, I care about what it means for Star Trek.
Yes,
that scares me to death.
Yes, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because the current people in charge of
Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks.
No, Discovery.
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, the guy in charge of Discovery has shown that he doesn't.
David Zaslav?
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention names. Has shown that he does not care about anything except what he likes and doesn't like. And it's not a matter of whether it's going to be profitable or not, because there's stuff that he's canned that was pretty much a license to print money.
Almost made Patreon real, though.
Yeah, Don, well, I want an example of that because...
Okay, probably the Batgirl movie would have done fairly well.
You can stop. Okay.
And
Don, that's... Don, I appreciate your passion.
And
the Batgirl movie was going to lose money, just like every other comic movie.
Right, and also the Warner
Coyote versus Acme.
The Coyote versus Acme.
That makes me angry. That one makes me angry.
Yeah, I think that would have done surprisingly well.
I believe that's actually going to get released now.
Yes, it's being shopped around for someone.
Because the fan outrage was like, you've made a valid successor to Looney Tunes with what we saw with the heart and spirit of the property, and then you go shelve it.
So I just want to point out, just because Don mentioned the Batgirl thing, it angers me that they did that to Batgirl. It was not a license to print money. It would have suffered like the fate of every comic book movie in the last year or two. For the most part, it would have tanked. And Warner Brothers the comic movies tank.
Yeah, the bubble has burst on that.
Yeah, so but at the same time, they did pick the Flash over that.
Which was
so not good judgment.
Just bad judgment. Like I would have absolutely picked Batgirl over the Flash. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to pretend that he's an idiot, and he's heartless, but he's not an idiot.
So what this means for Transformers, if the merger goes through, like Earthspark would end up going the way of animated. Basically, it would get shut down, its production, and I suspect any future movies would no longer go through any kind of Paramount partnership. Hasbro would be either shopping to a different studio complex or distributor, or they'd be trying to do it internally in Hasbro Studios or whatever they've tried to spin up after selling E1.
So I don't. Do you think for sure that that's what would happen? 'Cause I don't want to. I can't say what will happen. I can just say that none of it's encouraging.
I really, really strongly believe that for something that they don't own outright, they're going to hugely deprioritize. Because the reason we lost animated was because Cartoon Network did not have ownership in it.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay,
they were only getting
sense.
A partial stake off of it from some of the merchandising sales and not really much else because it was a licensing deal. And I think Earthspark would have the same problem because when Warner takes over Paramount's properties, they're going to want to focus in on stuff that they have the sole revenue from.
Blade in the Discord says that he's not an idiot. He's a guy who only knows how to make money off of reality shows. And that is a fair assessment. That's where they made their money. That's why Discovery was a bigger property and they could absorb Warner Brothers.
Yeah. I mean,
reality TV ruined everything. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, it did.
Literally everything, everywhere.
Reality TV and social media have ruined human civilization, essentially. Hot takes right here. But no, I really do think this would be bad for Transformers, but that it's very short-sighted to just put it to that. Warner absorbing Paramount and everything Paramount owns and bring it under that one umbrella is just bad for everything. It's just a further consolidation of media content and intellectual property under one control, and that is just bad. That basically makes Warner and Disney control the vast majority of everything, just themselves.
I mean, even the FCC might get involved depending on the shares involved as far as percentages of ownership versus everyone else. So it could be a possible antitrust situation, or at least
that's been suggested, but it was also pitched that antitrust might not apply because Paramount does not own any terrestrial. Warner does not own terrestrial broadcast networks.
Yeah,
at this point. So it's not like if Comcast was trying to be one side of this deal because they own NBC.
Chris, what's up with this next story?
Let me see what the next story is. I wrote the show notes, but it's much like being on the podcast. Shortly after I finished doing it, I don't remember anything that just came out of me. Okay, so this actually came up late last Wednesday. I don't think it popped up in time to be on the show last week, but I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. Ian Carlisle shared CAD art of unproduced animated toys. I don't know how they came into possession of this, but there's no reason to doubt the legitimacy of these. So it's CAD assets for an animated Cybertron mode Bumblebee, which I guess would have been a deluxe toy, and an animated Activators Rodimus.
I always find it interesting when people get a hold of things like this.
Right? So, like we were talking about just a few minutes ago, with animated being canceled, there was, of course, a lot of toys that went unproduced that we saw, handmade prototypes for. The stuff that they cut molds for, I think all of it ended up coming out in the Japanese line because that was running several months behind the Hasbro toy line. So that had an outlet still, but if it didn't have a steel mold cut, it got canceled. So Marauder Megatron never happened, for instance. And CAD stuff like this never even got to the point of having like detail work done on it. This is just like very simplistic forms, but at some point there was a plan to expand the Cybertron mode versions of the character lineup with a Bumblebee figure, and of course they would make more activators because those were what we had in place of like the basic or scout class at the
I
time.
loved activators.
Yeah, I had a couple of them. The activator Bumblebee, which at the time was the only one that was basically in scale with the other deluxe toys, that was a fine toy and technically a like more genuine transformer than the deluxe Bumblebee toy because it didn't use fake vehicle parts to achieve its robot mode look.
I think my favorite activators was the animated Armor Up Optimus Prime that was like the homage to Star Convoy.
I don't remember that one specifically.
He had the little, you look it up. I just, I don't know that I have that. Maybe that's something to buy during the show. Move along. I'll eBay this.
All right. What do we have next? Okay, so we got some in-hand photos of Crimson Flame, which is not the greatest thing to jump to when Brian's trying to look at a different window and can't run pictures on the stream, admittedly.
I don't actually run pictures on the stream anymore. I know you can't see it, but like I just stopped.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess it doesn't really matter. Well, let me open the tab up so I can actually talk about this then.
Oh, yeah. It's not as good looking as the promo pictures that we saw. The promo pictures, it was like very colorful and red and dragony. And now it's just an orange, which normally I'm like, orange, cool, but it's like a muted orange. It doesn't like, I still like it. I just don't like it as much as when I saw the promo photos.
Yeah, so the booth photos for this, you remember the Shockwave from that 3-pack looked like more vibrantly purple. The booth photos for this also had more vibrant coloring. So I think a combination of whatever kind of lights they had in the display booths and how the camera was set up for the people who were taking those booth photos probably came together to make the toys look a little bit more saturated than they might actually be. By the same token, though, the pictures that we're seeing here might actually be not saturated enough. So that's kind of the trick with this. It's hard to accurately reproduce colors in digital photography because so many different factors can affect how the camera senses what those colors are. I would definitely hope that the color on this in real conditions, when your eyes are looking directly at it, leans more toward those promo and booth pictures. I would not be surprised, though, to find that these pictures are a little bit more genuine to the reality of the materials used. Now, that said, I don't mind terribly how this looks, but yeah, the vibrant red dragon thing was kind of working for it.
What I do like is that the paint detailing does actually stand out a little bit more in what is presumably more natural light. Mm-hmm. Like it looked more like just a solid contiguous red in the promo pic in the promo model under the good lights, and here you can actually make out some of the darker red paint on the armor, and I kind of like that. Like if it wound up being a little bit more towards the red side in person, but with the darker red still as visible as it is here, I'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I agree.
What I'm doing right now is I'm looking through the other pictures in this gallery and looking at the stuff in the background to try to draw like a comparison for how the colors are being reproduced. And yeah, I suspect this more orangey side of red is probably what the toy actually looks like, because most of the other stuff looks the way I would expect it to in real life back there.
Yeah, and the photos of the promotional pictures on the laptop in the background look correct, so compared to what we saw before. So
yeah. I don't hate this, but yeah, it's definitely not as like fancy and nice looking as it originally seemed.
I would still like to get it since I never got any of this mold. I'd still like to get it if the price is not too high.
Yeah. I have to believe that this is going to end up on Pulse eventually.
I would think so. Probably around, Chinese New Year, I would think.
Or maybe a little bit after, yeah.
Yeah.
I had that feeling too, just because even in the promo pics, you can see the kind of Transformers plastic bags they've been using, and it's very, very U.S. packaging friendly from what I can see.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that is distributed in Hasbro's markets in Southeast Asia, like this is, it uses the familiar looking packaging. So I mean, that's not itself so unusual, but it does help with international distribution. I mean, you've probably been familiar with this from time to time. Getting like early deluxes and stuff. It's U.S. packaging, and all there is a little sticker put over the back for the corporate contact information for one of the local Hasbro offices.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially if you get stuff from like Robot Kingdom, you'll get the Hasbro Hong Kong sticker over it, for instance.
So is it just like packaging they could reuse for different markets with maybe a label or just a slight change to have less packaging variations?
Yeah. I mean, and that's been something they've tried to drive towards since Robots in Disguise 2001, when the packaging started to go trilingual. That was an effort to have fewer different print jobs they had to do for different regions. At that time, it was just to cover all of North America, basically. But, since then, they've expanded to have the packaging be as global friendly as possible. So ideally, you print this once and it can just go everywhere, maybe with a sticker added over it in case you need like specific local contact information.
Or you have to change the name from Spastic to something else.
Yes, well, that was a little bit unfortunate in any case. And then, like Takara's Studio Series stuff is very similarly packaged. I think even since like the War for Cybertron trilogy, Takara's packaging for the Generation stuff has been very similar to Hasbro's. It's using similar templates with like different assets. So there is some cost saving there too, because they don't have to cut like two different dies to make the boxes, for instance.
Yeah. Okay, hey. So you can take a drink.
Oh, good. I need it after that.
Because I just bought something. But it wasn't the Armor Up Optimus Prime because I don't want to spend $40 on it. So next item is 40th anniversary reissue Blaster is now shipping from Walmart.
Ah.
I didn't realize I didn't want to buy it from Walmart, especially because like Skywarp is $50 there.
Oof.
Yeah, but the Blaster and the Walmart and the Skywarp are on Pulse, and Skywarp is available to ship. So I bought Skywarp and I pre-ordered Blaster.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely you can see a difference with Blaster, but the thing that I really like about this is Steeljaw.
Yeah,
Steeljaw is like radically different. So it's yellow. It's got like that mustard orange. His weapons are sort of mustard orange. His legs are painted. It looks like. I don't think they went with plastic. Could they have gone with plastic?
They would have had to change the mold for that.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like painted metal to me. I guess I'm wrong.
Painted die-cast metal. So that's really interesting. Blaster, his legs and everything are more silver.
It's a cool gray versus the warmer gray tone of the original.
I
like that a lot better.
I like it so much better.
Yeah, I bought the last Blaster when it went like stupid clearance just to have one in the box, but I never did like those. It's almost like it's yellow fading. Like
exactly.
The is naturally age faded out of the box.
I was gonna say, I swear my brother's G1 Blaster is not quite as tan in the legs as the one that they're showing here, but I could be wrong on that.
The San Diego Comic-Con Blaster is brown.
Yeah,
and it was brown when it was new. It's weird. But
I have a question,
real quick. This Blaster, though, one difference also from the original toy is that the cassette window has a tampograph on it. Looks like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Diecast.
The hands, I don't remember them rotating, and I see that on the gray.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. My original blaster, brand new. It was one of the few figures that had basic wrist articulation around that time period. A lot of them didn't.
Yeah. The only
Yeah.
thing I don't like about the new 40th anniversary one is that it's missing the rub sign and it looks a little weird to me without it.
You mean
Oh.
you? Well, that's just because you want to rub Blaster on his. Never mind. So one thing I actually really like about the deco on the 40th anniversary one, which kind of surprises me, I like the combination of the cartoon style coloring on the toy face.
Yeah.
Like that actually looks really good with the silver and white, the way they've used that, and like the blue eyes really pop out of that.
Yeah. All of these are missing the rub symbol, aren't they? Because rub symbol wasn't something that appeared in the animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the case with Steeljaw, like Steeljaw has a printed Autobot logo where the rub symbol would be. So
You want him to have a face on his crotch, is what you're saying.
I'm gonna put it on there, okay? I'm gonna put it. It's gonna be an Autobot,
I mean, okay, so like, I get a very small part of diecast complaint here. It does look kind of weird and bad to have just that empty blank square where you know that it was designed for some kind of sticker to go into. But I don't share diecast desire to put a face on Blaster's nethers.
I just recently, over the last 6 months, for the first time ever, restored like a broken blaster, like the mechanism on the inside was broken.
Mhm.
I don't want to ever have to do that again. It wasn't that hard. It was just tedious.
Tedious, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
My brother took one of our childhood blasters apart, and the arm connection never quite went back on right. So
Oh yeah.
doesn't transform very well anymore.
Yeah.
All right. I gotta ask a question. How many here and in our Discord, tfradio.net/Discord,
in our disco.
how many people actually display their blasters with the legs separated? Because that has always looked wrong to me. To have the hinges that used for tape deck mode, that never has looked right to me. Does anyone actually?
What do you mean,
Now
Doug?
that you meant, you mean collapsing the transformation joint so the legs are just solid gray?
Yeah. It
now
just
that you mention it, I think that's how I usually displayed mine.
I've never thought that looked right. It was almost like it was an unfinished transformation, because those are, I mean, if they bent the other direction like knees, I could kind of see it, but it's a gap there that just doesn't look right. It's always bugged me that people have their blasters. I've seen pictures of them and they have it like that, and that's like,
I get it,
wrong to me.
Maybe for those people, 10 inches just isn't tall enough.
Yeah, I'm looking on my shelf, and I have a few vintage blasters. The only one I actually see is in tape deck mode. Yeah, so it's not an issue.
Zero G Frame says, "Ew, no collapse for sure," and then said heathens.
Yeah.
No, I hadn't even thought about it from looking at the pictures, but I would say like the collapsed leg would look more correct.
Yeah. I'm sadly looking forward to this. I wasn't before, but now that I'm seeing photos of it,
It's pretty nice.
yeah.
If this clearances out to $8 or $5 like the last one, I might actually pick one up.
Oh God, I bought so many of those for like $8. So many, like, and I could just ship them, and like, I don't remember if I had Walmart. If Walmart Plus was a thing at that point, I don't think it was.
It wasn't.
Shipping would be free now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, Hot Rod is $10 on.
Yeah.
So I almost bought. God, I probably should buy a few of those.
I mean, like, I'm so tempted by that because I've seen that in person. Hey, Mickey has one of those hot rods, but like, there's this part of me, there's this wall in my head, like, I don't need to spend money on that. But I sure would like it because it's pretty. But I don't need to spend money on that.
If
Like,
there's any of them that you do need to spend money on, it's that hard.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy it for $25 less in retail and have the movie accurate-ish hot rod.
Okay,
well, I
have
don't have Walmart Plus, so I have to pay $7 shipping
I
on
have
it. So
60 of them in my cart right now. Let's see if it'll let me. Yeah, subtotal $2,030 savings, $1,440,
Oh.
$598.20.
Oh, they'll find shelf warmers covered for a while.
Yeah, I dare you.
Pay $32 a month with a firm. I might have to do that. Kim would kill me if that hit the bank account.
I want to know how they would ship you 60 hot rods.
One per box in 60 boxes.
Well, yeah, that's what I want to know.
And 55 of them will have a crushed flap.
How stupid would
the other 5 will be essential oils?
Or would they just grab like whole unopened cartons of them and just label them and mail them off?
How many are in a carton? Do we know?
I don't know off the top of my head. I would assume 8.
4. Oh, maybe. Yeah. I would say 4 or 8.
I'll order 10 and see how it happens. We'll see how that works.
Do you remember the movie Weird Science? I would call this one Dumb Science.
Yes.
If it was the podcast before Christmas, I would pitch Dumb Science for the episode
I would
title.
second it. Yes.
So like I've told you before, I wanted to do like an eBay store or something. I can put these in a closet and sell them in a couple of years.
Yeah.
I think one, absolutely. Yeah.
This is just inventory. Okay. Let's see how it goes. Well, no,
Chris, I put something
Friday.
Chris, I put something in the chat for you.
And I also just ordered a blaster because, it says 40th anniversary on the box. So I said it'll even look nice if you don't take it out of the box.
I'm probably going to wait and hope that clearance is out, but it does look really nice.
You know, I'm going to do my normal, and when it does clearance out, I'll buy a second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. This makes me eager to see what the corresponding Soundwave is going to look like in person.
Yeah.
Because, I don't remember when the promo photos for these 40th anniversary reissues popped up. I didn't remember being that impressed with how either of them looked, but, that blaster just looks really nice.
It does.
I'm kind of tempted by it now. After seeing the side-by-sides, I've forgotten, even on clearance, how much I kind of disliked that blaster. I got it because it was a blaster in a box, and it didn't bother me as bad. But now seeing a side-by-side is like, yeah, that's a lot better.
The tan legs, I'm telling you, the tan legs always bothered me on blaster.
Also, just seeing the new and improved paint on the face just kind of hammers home how much G1 Blaster looks like Ultraman in a funny hat.
Yes.
Yeah. The blue eyes really do that, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
That is so weird. I hate that you've put that in my head now. Damn, man.
This show's getting expensive.
This show's getting weird.
Yeah. So, speaking of weird, we have Rise of the Beast Wheeljack in the Studio Series. I don't hate it.
I mean, I'm going to end up buying it mainly for its alt mode.
I'm not buying it, but I don't hate it.
I still have not watched Rise of the Beast, despite the fact that anytime, literally anytime, day or night that I want to, I can go watch it for free with my Paramount Plus subscription. I still have not been able to motivate myself to actually sit there for 2.5 hours and watch for.
Go watch it.
2 hours.
It's not bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what everybody says. You just, maybe you do understand, it is just so hard for me to actually, gather up enough attention span and focus it on sitting and just watching a whole movie. And if I have to stop halfway through and come back to it, I'm probably just not going to come back to it.
I have the same problem. I can stream anything just to, just pick something on Twitch and watch it, and just because I'm doing it passively, I don't feel bad about not paying full attention.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But if I try,
I was doing work today for the podcast, some behind the scenes stuff, and when I was sitting down and starting with it, because I knew I was going to be doing it for at least a couple of hours, I was like, I should go find a podcast of the few that I am willing to listen to outside of the stuff we do, and then it's like, but if I'm doing this, I'm not going to be able to pay attention to what the podcast is talking about. And then I'm going to keep running it back, or I'm going to pay attention to that, not the work. And it's just so we're just going to sit here and do this in silence, and it's just going to be hell. Because that's just how my brain works.
Yeah.
I feel that. Like,
Got the work done though.
I'm better off doing music than podcasts when I go to work.
Yeah. So for depending what I'm trying to do, it's the same way for me. If it's something where I have to be like typing or like processing information otherwise, podcasts don't really work. If it is something
I'll start
like
typing the show.
If it's something like where I am like taking pictures, if I'm trying to do like a photo gallery, like I can have a podcast on then because that's like two different functions of my brain. Or if I'm sitting here doing like the editing for the photos, or if I'm doing like Photoshop stuff in general, like if it's a like graphical visual kind of thing, I can have that working in one part of my brain and process a podcast in another one. But if I've got to be doing like words only have one line in my head. So like it's either in or out and that's it.
I can do podcasts and audiobooks no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah, I can't do it. If I'm trying to write something and I've got like a podcast going, I will start transcribing the podcast without thinking about it.
That's fun.
You know, if I could type faster, I probably would end up doing the same thing.
Hey, so this is interesting. I didn't see this. Chinese Bumblebee movie blind box figures with shattered glass variants.
For some reason.
I hate
That's
blind
amazing.
boxes.
I do too, depending on the price.
I have to admit, like, just as an idea, I don't hate shattered glass movie Soundwave.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, me neither.
And I love that for the shattered glass version, they actually put the bandana on him.
Oh my God, they did.
They did.
Yeah, for the gold bug flavored Bumblebee, they also put the battle mask down, and I kind of would like to see an animated Wasp style color scheme from that.
Okay, yeah.
They so did. That is amazing.
I'm glad these are probably only going to be in the Asian market, and I don't even have to worry about seeing them.
Yeah, we don't know anything about how or if they'll be distributed outside of China. By being diecast with your infamous Taobao connections, I'm sure you could probably scare up a source for them.
Yeah, I don't want these.
It gives a percentage of how much each one is in the blind box. That's
cool.
Oh, good. I didn't even pay that close attention to it. I just like looked at it and thought like, okay, so you've chosen shattered glass for reasons that completely escape me, since there's, at least one other option each for these designs that you could have gone with that make more sense in context.
So who was it that wanted this Yolopark AMK Series Pro G1 Megatron
diecast
variant? Diecast wants it?
Yeah. Yep.
Did you buy it? You said like pre-show there was something that you were going to buy.
No, this was actually the
Comic-Con Singapore exclusive.
Yeah, if anyone knows a source to get this, let me know. Because I do like these photos where you can mix and match parts with what I'm going to call the Kickstarter Megatron, because that's the regular one, and that's how I ordered it, is through Kickstarter.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's why I said I didn't like it all purple. There's one angle where it's very translucent, and I like that. I don't like the ones that are just like dark purple and you hardly can't see through it, which is what this looked like. But then, like I said, now you can mix it, because it basically is a Build-A-Figure. You can mix and match parts with the regular Megatron, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought the picture demonstrating that was pretty cool looking.
Yeah, and there's the picture right before it is the one where it's like they have a lot of light shining through it, and you can definitely see through the figure a little bit better, and that's cool to me.
Yeah.
So
if you could get a lighted base to put this on, that would be great.
Oh, that would be
yes.
You could probably get that from like Temu for like next to nothing, I bet.
Yeah.
So was this Yolopark AMK Mini G1 model kit what you're talking about? I didn't even know these existed.
Yes. I ordered it today, and I ordered it on Big Bad Toy Store because they were $50 on Yolopark's
for all of them, or
website for all of them. Yes.
Okay.
But it was like $35 to ship it, so it was actually cheaper to order it at Big Bad Toy Store. But I like the look of these little guys. They could be a lot of fun, and I'm not exactly sure how big they're going to be.
The article says 10 to 12 centimeters tall, so about original, like 80s GI Joe size,
4 inches,
4.5 inches, in there. Like, to be honest, like 10 centimeter mini kits is kind of where I've been living lately with easy access to Japanese candy toys. Yeah, and I kind of am thinking about these. They look good.
The other thing I noticed in the article says that these are pre-assembled, which makes calling them bottle kits kind of weird.
Yeah.
It says pre-order December 2023, so these are going to ship in the next week.
Yeah, it's close.
I might do this.
They got a lot of things shipping right now. Their Megatron G1 Megatron's supposed to ship. I saw they were doing a G1 Optimus, which is actually available for pre-order on Big Bed Toy Store's website. But if you go on the Yolopark's website, it's not even on their website.
I don't hate that. I do not hate that.
But yeah, these they're going to be about legend scale. So I think that's cool for these guys.
That Grimlock in that assortment would actually be perfect with current core class stuff.
I know technology aside and everything, but just think, when we started doing this podcast or the show, in the 1990s, if someone had shown us that Yolopark Optimus Prime, the Pro model kit,
we'd have lost our damn minds.
We would have lost our minds. And now it's like, oh, that's cool. I might get it.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, remember when the Mega SCF figures came about, and that was the most mind-blowing thing, and everybody wanted the Optimus Prime.
So it didn't have the basketball.
Yeah. That kind of spoiled the mood, but
I mean, I remember, as not a kid, as a teenager, collecting those little tiny figures that looked like the movie figures, and I was totally they weren't articulated or
Heroes
anything.
Of Cybertron?
Yeah, the Heroes of Cybertron. But there's a couple different names.
Titaniums?
They were
the little titaniums?
No, not the titaniums. They were the Heroes of Cybertron, but they were the imported ones before.
Oh yeah, the SCF series.
Just the SCF.
Yeah.
And okay, that movie, not the yeah.
I was just man, these are awesome. Because we didn't have anything like that back then.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. We're running long.
See, when Diecast references the movie, it's Diecast, of course he means a live action movie.
Yeah.
Not always.
Not always. So lenticular licensed Transformers 3D puzzles.
Yeah.
Okay. Like a lenticular. I mean, it's not a hologram, so it doesn't. It's not but cutting up something lenticular into a puzzle seems weird, because you'd have to have it perfectly flat to get it to work right.
I am genuinely curious how this would work in practice.
I don't want to spend money to find out. So this
you really have changed.
Yeah.
It's only 150 pieces. I mean, it can't take you that long.
I did just buy 10 hot rods during the show, so.
Well,
trying to get rid of stuff.
Buy it and tell us how long it takes.
Yeah, well, I mean, and being 150 pieces, the pieces must be, fairly decent size too. It probably helps being able to put a functional lenticular image together.
I'm just reminded of the build at Enterprise and build the stuff from Eagle Moss. And I'm thinking, hopefully you get all the pieces.
No, this is a little bit different.
Puzzles are, I mean, they cut it.
Somebody was trying to do that with an Optimus Prime model, though. I don't think
they
it's off the ground.
Yeah.
Last I've seen, it's still up at places for pre-order.
Okay, let's jump to what we got this week. Remember, the ham sandwich portion of what we got this week is exclusive to patrons at patreon.com/tfradio. So, Diecast, what Transformers did you get this week?
Oh, I'm sorry, I had to reach. I got which Don will like. The Metroplex. This is, I guess, a legend scale. It's the C-0001.
Yeah, that's the first offering from. Well, we think it's the first offering from that company. I can't even pronounce it.
The toy is called Vladivostok.
Okay, well, no, I meant the actual company name.
Okay.
But I love the name of the character. I love that they picked that name as a reference.
Look at all the little circuits and batteries, and it actually comes with remotes. I didn't even realize that. It comes with like a little like key fob remote for the lights. And then the lights are separate panels too, with wires and plugs that plug into the circuit boards. This looks like a project to get this thing to where it can actually light up. But
maybe
I had no idea it had a remote. That is super cool.
Maybe that's why the cost wasn't as bad compared to what we've seen other stuff like Michael, like New Age Michael and things like that, because that was what
assembly is required.
Yeah, so you're doing a lot of the assembly work they didn't have to pay for. What was? Can I ask? What was that price?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I saw it for around $229 to $279. I think. Where did you get yours from?
Taobao.
Okay, all right. I was thinking that
when he said he didn't know what it cost, that was my guess.
Yeah, that's true.
I completely zoned out for a second. Who makes this?
Some new company.
So, are you going to be offended if I say that looks like crap?
No, I mean, you could totally
like something
say
looks
that.
wrong. Something just looks off about it.
There's something about the chest, just like that.
It looks very plain.
Yeah, it looks like I thought it was 3D printed for a second. It just looks.
I think there's more detail on there than diecast camera and lighting is really depicting well.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's the one I've seen pictures of before, that circle in the middle of the chest is a light, isn't it?
Yeah, that should probably
be a big
one
red circle.
Yeah, so that's something that I didn't assemble yet. I mean, there are a bunch of there's a bag of red parts and
a tray of green parts and electronics, and like there will be detail.
Oh, that's the green parts. Yeah, that's where what all the little chips.
Apologies to whoever made this. It's diecast camera. Nothing wrong with your camera. It's just the size of it on my screen and everything. None of that's coming through.
His lighting is not great head on.
It's washing out a lot of the detail.
Yeah.
I kind of like it, but the thing that gets me about it is that light in the middle of the chest is like kind of imported. I feel like from War for Cybertron Metroplex, and it doesn't quite match the G1 stylings. Otherwise, other than that, I think it looks pretty okay.
The glasses flip in if you don't want to have that glasses look.
Oh, nice. I like that.
It's I just got it out of the box. It even comes with like a little scamper. I put him in there, a little scamper, right?
That's
Slammer.
Yeah.
Sorry. But I put him in the chest, which he's kind of like rattling around in there. It's very G1, which is the reason I picked it up. And the lights.
But it's not G1 enough.
It's not G1 enough, but I think it's a pretty decent G1 Metroplex.
It's G1 enough for diecast.
Yeah.
And
there you go.
It'd be G1 enough for me too. Like I've been following along a little bit on the development of that, and like I like a lot of what they chose to do with that. Maybe not the home electronics kit project aspect of it so much, but like we were talking about in pre-show, that's fairly optional, honestly. If you don't care about having the lights, you're not losing anything by not installing all of that stuff.
Yeah. The spirit of Radio Shack is alive and well in Vladivostok.
Yeah, apparently so.
And because I got that pretty much guarantees that we're going to get a really G1 style Metroplex as the next HasLab.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. Just to let folks know, right now, Shozy Store does have in stock $199.99 and about $21 shipping to the US. But I did see something about some people were taking on the Shozy Store Facebook page about the batteries might have been posing an issue about shipping and reashipment. So do your research on that concerned with their batteries concerned. But it is available if anyone wanted it.
Cool. Okay, what else did I cast?
Next thing I got was Fans Hobby X Load, which is their Overload, which
Okay,
I
cool.
loved Overload from when I was a kid. So
You weren't a kid, I cast.
yeah, I wasn't a kid.
Mentally,
I was a younger kid.
How old are you
He
now?
was a teenager. He was
41.
a teenager.
3. You were probably 21 when that came out.
that would track.
Yeah. Really?
That
I
came
was
out in
19.
2003.
Yeah, so
Okay,
20
yeah.
years ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
Time is weird.
So 2003
Oh.
was 20 years ago. You'd have been a teenager. No, you would have.
Yeah,
You would have been a
Overload.
teenager.
Overload would have come out in like spring of 2003. So yeah,
I mean, I had it when it came out, so I just
I was
assumed I was a
24
little
when that
bit
came out.
younger.
No, I was 24. If you're 3 years younger than me, yeah, you'd have been in your 20s. You weren't a kid.
Okay.
mentally,
Well,
emotionally,
all the
on
above.
the inside.
I
But
did
Don
get a
was in
kid
his
though.
30s.
I got Tasmanian Kid.
Oh, Tasmania kid.
Oh,
nice.
So it looks like very similar transformation to Rat Trap from what I can see. I don't know if that's true or not because I haven't taken it out of the box.
Where'd you get it from?
Amazon.
Okay.
And then also from Amazon, I got animated Bumblebee. Again, not out of the package. I hope he's going to be as good as animated Prime, Voyager Prime, because Voyager Prime was amazing. So hopefully
I'll be able
this...
to answer that in a few minutes, Diecast, even though I don't have Prime yet.
Okay. And then I got Windblade.
I'll be able to answer that in a few minutes as well.
People
I've
are
heard of-
raving about Windblade in our Discord,
Yeah.
like over the last week.
Huh.
I've been very surprised by that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Then I also got, this is that super deformed. We talked about this on one of the shows, the super deformed Optimus Prime that actually transforms into a truck. So again, didn't open it, but super happy to have this because I've always kind of been interested in the super deformed, but never had one that I wanted to actually pay money for. And being that this one actually transforms into a truck, I decided to pick it up. And then thanks to Rob Clay, I got another Null
Excellent.
to go to my Null army. And this is my favorite Null. I just love him so much.
It's amazing how much he compresses in the torso to get the right Sharkticon look. It's kind of impressive the way he transforms.
Yeah, they as much as I love the legend scale Null, just having Null on a deluxe it's beautiful. So thank you very much, Rob.
I saw that you only needed one, and it just seemed like the best way to go. Like
And
the
then I
last
also got the Studio Series Starscream, which is the gamer edition. The one from, what was this? The
Fall of
second
Cybertron.
video game? Yeah.
yeah.
Fall of Cybertron. So,
That one I can't tell you anything about because I ain't getting it unless it goes on clearance.
I'm not even
Well,
getting it on clearance.
there's a good chance you'll get it because the way stuff has been clearancing lately. That's another topic I was thinking about. We kind of go through these peaks and valleys to where there is a lot of Hasbro clearance in your Rosses and Ollie's and all that stuff. I wonder if that's going to cause them to cut production, because I know we go through that to where, okay, we're making way too much product, they'll cut back, and then it'll be hard to get for a while, and then after a while they start producing more of it. So we go through these cycles.
Yeah, but I think it's also going to be based on Diecast where the product is coming from. Are they buying direct cases from Hasbro? Are they buying it from other stores that bought from Hasbro that are liquidating? I mean, it could go either way. If they're buying from secondary retailers that bought from Hasbro, Hasbro's done made their money. So this is from those other places that I was getting rid of extra stock.
But
Yeah,
either
but if
way,
they're-
there's an excess. So those retailers are going to come back on what they're ordering.
Exactly.
Hasbro is going to have to start producing less. So we're still in that same cycle of
2025 is going to be interesting to see for the product line.
yeah. And the last thing I got, I'm not even going to try and grab it. It's just too far off screen. But it is the X Transbots Power Master Optimus Prime, which the way they did it is completely stupid because they don't actually have the Optimus Prime robot yet. They just released the body for it. But I saw enough of it I think we were at TFCon when I was with Brian, that I was like, okay, I'm going to pick this up because if I don't get it now, once the Optimus Prime comes out, I'm not going to be able to get it. And I think they were also, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, they also had it in the display case with the Apex armor, but
Yeah, remember he didn't go in.
Care about the Apex armor. Like, I'm more into the Power Master Optimus Prime anyway, so if I don't get the Apex armor, I'm okay.
Because this Prime is based on the Marvel Comics look, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because he has the different the stylized face. Yeah, he has that look. So I think this is marketed under KFC, not X Transbox, I think. But yeah, they include like a cardboard Optimus Prime just to fill in.
They might have. I didn't even.
I want to say they included a cardboard Optimus Prime to fill in the chest until the Prime is released. I think,
which is so. It's just dumb. It's just they should have just either released it the other way and did the Prime first and the body afterwards, or they should have just waited on the body till the Prime was ready. Also,
yeah.
That could be a manufacturing bottleneck. Basically, if they only have one factory that can produce their stuff, they can't warehouse all of the units of the one half that they can produce first until all those second ones are done, because there might be 8 months between when they can get their jobs done.
Right. That's why I was like, they should at least have swapped them. But and done the actual Prime first, and then the body later.
I feel like the purpose of doing the armor trailer part first is they're going to figure everybody who bought one of those trailers is definitely going to buy an Optimus Prime. Yeah. So even if everything else is bad, we can make exactly that number and be pretty sure we're going to sell all those units, and our retailers are not going to have to sit on them and mark them down for the next 5 years and not buy any of our stuff again.
That is a good point, but I also think it kind of deters people from buying the main body without the actual Optimus Prime. So
yeah, maybe.
But let me see. I think that's it for on-topic stuff this week.
All right. Well, Brian has left me in charge for the next few minutes. So, Don, tell us about your on-topic and on-topic only, please, items.
I will. Starting off with animated Bumblebee. I got that yesterday. He looks great in robot mode. Car mode he looks fine. But like Chase that I mentioned last week before last, the fiddle factor going into car mode, because the top half folds down to form the top of the car and the back half of the figure, and getting all those little tabs to line up at the end. Because again, I know this just to show people on video. The clear windshield goes into tabs in the hood, which doesn't always connect. And on the sides, there's arm tabs under that 5mm port that are really hard to get into place to lock everything together. And the bumper here has those two little tabs on the side that has to go in at an angle to those tabs right there. It reminds me of transforming Leader Class Slag to get that tail at the right angle to connect. It's that same kind of geometry, Rubik's cubing that you have to do to get it. And when you get him out of the box, he is small.
Mhm.
If you want to see the visual representation of what a deluxe is nowadays in their eyes, where he falls, or what's being called a deluxe, look at him versus something of 2-3 years ago. Look at him versus DevCon or Chase from this current wave. He is small. I like him, but it's the like Chase, like Shadow Striker. It's just there's not enough mass here to have a lot of room to play with to get those tabs into place. But
how would you say he compares to, say, just to go on the smaller end of deluxes from recent years, say Studio Series Brawn or Legacy Beachcomber?
I would say I like Brawn and Beachcomber better.
Okay.
But they also don't have to do the visual contortion to see their boxes. By default, they're boxes that turn into another box.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have the geometry there to turn an animated looking character into a vehicle. Yeah. And I think it's just again, it's the fiddle factor of getting those last few tabs into place that otherwise kind of brings him down a notch for me, but I still am glad I got him. Windblade, I do not have an open Windblade of anything. I didn't buy any of the earlier Windblades because they were just too simple and too blah. I did buy the Titans Return, but I bought the only one my Ollie's had, and I thought, I'll pick one up later.
No, you will not.
No, I will not. And I have that one still on the card, unopened, and I've bought this one to be my open Windblade. First out of the package, came missing a tail wing. So I don't know if it's worth it sending it back to Amazon just for that. I can call Hasbro, but I'm probably not going to get anywhere with that.
Yeah.
And in robot mode, it's really not that noticeable. So heck, I might just take a magic marker, paint the nubs black. So that way at least there's some black on that leg and call it good. But for a Windblade toy, like I said, I've never opened any of the ones that came out before because they were just so simple. I like the compression in jet mode. She's a figure wearing a bottom, like wearing most of her robot mode down there, but at least stuff does hide and compress very well. Again, I wish on Windblade we've seen them do interesting things hiding the hands on jet formers. Mostly Seekers because you have a bit more mass to work with, but I just wish there was, like, if the legs had turned to the side and the wings could have folded up under those panels, something along those lines. But for my first Windblade, I don't mind. She's just a character that needs a little more mass to do what I think she needs to do. But again, that's just me. I also picked up from Marvel B on the TFW 2005 boards. A couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, I bought the Jokerized version of Chrome Dome that was a TFCon exclusive because I thought those colors on that mold really look great.
The Mastermind Creations one, right?
I'm sorry, thank you, Mastermind Creations. They're Jokerized, they're Shattered Glass, Chrome Dome, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. So I got from him, from Mastermind, it's the Vexo Prominion, which is their take on Senator
Batman.
And the Batman blue and gray color scheme at a very good price. So I was kind of wanting the black version, but for the price difference of about half, I'm more than happy with the black, with the gray and the blue version. Mm-hmm. Plus, he comes with a cloth cape. His wings can become Batarang-like weapons. So I'm very glad we've picked him up to go. That's a set of 2. I can't imagine them adding anything else to that set unless something becomes the Riddler or another one of their figures does a Robin or something like that. But I picked him up.
And I feel like for something that's basically like an in-jokey thing, like I kind of would prefer Super Friends colored Batman anyway.
Yeah.
Over one of the later ones.
Yeah. Thanks to a hunt through Target's pile of stuff on the shelf while we were having dinner with friends, found Battlemaster Air Razor, which I haven't bought many of the Battlemasters. I bought Optimus and Rhinox, and that's about it because they just really didn't do a lot for me. But Air Razor is a triple changer. She looks great. She's also, no pun intended, a tail end piece. She could well be the last new figure in the line. So I wanted to make sure I picked up the only one that I'd seen so far. Also, while I was at Target, I was going through the piles of stuff laying on the shelf. Target, you really need to pay people, get more people in the store to get cleaned up. No one can shop your stores. But I picked up some reaction figures. No big surprise, but they were $5 a piece. So I got Cheetor, Black Arachnia, and Dinobot for $5 a piece.
I think that's a
fair.
solid price for those. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll. So basically, I've got all their Beast Wars characters released so far because I already had the Optimus and the Megatron. Also, because I'm a sucker for cheapness, I got another Hot Rod and Hound off of the Walmart website. They were $10 a piece. And I don't think it'll hurt with Hound being kind of as fragile as he is. Because my G1 Hound is very iffy on some of the joint tolerances by now, but he was new from a flea market in 1985. So yeah, he's got some age on him. And the last thing I got today, have not had a chance to open it, was the Reactivate second wave of Starscream and Bumblebee.
Nice.
And after watching a couple of reviews, I am really interested in getting into these figures. The Bumblebee looks like a really interesting transformation and still be Bumblebee. The Starscream, the asymmetry on Starscream is a little off-putting at first, but it's an interesting look for Starscream. And I think this is one time, unless they do like a Pulse run of Skywarp and Thundercracker, I really don't think we're going to be seeing a trio of Seekers anytime soon from this mold. So this may be the mold that violates the rule of 3 there.
I mean, if you think about it, though, like we could get like a Thundercracker with a Cliff Jumper off that Bumblebee mold. That's, one standard 2-pack they could still do. Get Skywarp with maybe a Soundwave redeco, either, Sound Blaster Colors or Shattered Glass or something. Like, there's definitely ways that they can do this without having to do like a special format 2-pack through an exclusive retailer.
If so, I hope there's just minor mold variations, because having all 3 be asymmetrical in exactly the same way would probably drive me insane a little bit.
I imagine they could probably cover some of that up with just working the deco a certain way to de-emphasize some of the asymmetries.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's all I've got from my own topic this week.
I'll jump back in. I forgot one thing real quick from Target on one of their sales. Matt will appreciate. I got another 4-pack. I think it was down to like $55 roughly.
How many do you have?
This is my second.
Oh, I'm a little disappointed in you. You should have got more.
I think only having 2 until they like properly hit clearance is very justified and valid.
Yeah.
Because that's certainly the approach I'm taking.
But they seem to be drying up. Like I had to go to a Target a little bit further away than I normally do to get that. So I don't know how much longer they're going to stick around.
Matt, would you like to go next?
I got Studio Series 86 Rumble Red. He is a tiny little red tape man.
Sometimes known as Frenzy, such as on the packaging.
Yeah. Sure. That's it for me this week on topic.
Do you like it?
Yeah, just as much as I like the blue one.
I couldn't remember what you had said about Blue Frenzy previously.
He liked it so much he bought a second one.
Yeah, I mean, I've bought seconds of things I didn't like that much out of a sense of obligation to have the set complete. So, sometimes there's no telling. Rob?
Okay, so luckily, I'm starting to exercise a little bit of sense. My Surugaya orders are gradually getting smaller.
You're also just running out of things that Japan can provide for you at this point, I'm sure.
To a certain extent, there's also just stuff that's a little bit more than I want to pay right now, but will probably find its way to me eventually. But no, the one thing I did get is they had a Bump of Chicken Bumblebee for $25.
I would have done that too.
That's a great price.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd always wanted that. I like the shaded blue. I like the Titan Masters. It's named for a band called Bump of Chicken. That's just, I kind of had to get that, and that's the cheapest I've ever seen it. So it's yeah, that was worth it, and that's about. I think that is the only on topic thing I have gotten this week.
Cool. Anybody else?
Well, I haven't gone yet, so
Okay.
So my chase did come on Thursday as expected. Just in time to not be on the show last week. For the most part, I agree with Don's assessment of it last week. There is one factual error that he made, though, that I would like to correct. So, Don, do you recall saying that Chase's arms don't have a way to lock in the upward position at the shoulder?
There's a way for them to lock?
Yes, it's designed to do that. There are little nubs on the inside. The problem is, if you look at your Chase and flip the chest up, there's a gray piece that those armatures hinge around, and it is not screwed in all the way by default. And the way it's assembled, those cannot grab onto those armatures. If you tighten that screw a little bit, that gray piece fits in just a little bit more flush, and those will softly click into place and stay up. Yeah, you see the little gray part in the center under the chest?
Yeah.
Between the arms?
Yeah.
Just get a little screwdriver, tighten that down a little bit, and that should solve your problem. The little nubs on the side that you should be able to just barely see will catch underneath the armatures that the arms hinge up on, and they will stay in place. So it's not a friction fitting.
Interesting.
Well, thank you for letting me know. I would have never caught that.
Yeah, well, I didn't it's not that I didn't believe you. It wasn't a disbelief in you. It was a disbelief in that I can't imagine they would make something like that just be a friction fitting. Because, they did it with Studio Series Ultra Magnus, to be honest. But, that also seemed like an outlier case. So I specifically wanted to look and see, is there really no way to do this? And then if there wasn't, can it be modified to actually, be locked up in there? So when the toy gets older, it's not going to have its arms falling down. But yeah, otherwise, I agree with what Don was saying last week. The transformation is a little bit weird and fiddly. I think in our Discord, Wheeljack64, our friend Josh said, order of operations is important when transforming this. And I think he's correct with that. There's a few spots in here where, you got to do exactly the right thing at exactly the right time. And otherwise, there's flexibility around that. You can kind of move stuff in and out as you need to make room. But if you don't get little bits of it in just the right place, it's not going to go together right. And it's not the most fun thing to transform. I've gotten used to it, where I understand what it's wanting me to do when, but it's not an all-time great Autobot car toy. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the immediate sudden magic of, say, Cyberverse Deluxe Prowl. That was a toy that I bought when I bought it just because it was there with the Starscream that I wanted, and its blast effects looked cool. And I was yeah, sure, I'll pick that up too. I can talk about it on the podcast. And when I opened it, messed with it, I love this toy. I didn't have that experience with Chase, unfortunately.
Yeah. Can you see why? I was
ahead.
can you see why I was kind of shooting for him to be the deluxe of the year that kind of edges out DevCon, because it's the first rescue bot getting an actual real figure, and it just couldn't edge out DevCon.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for it to be the new number one of its kind. I don't think I was putting those kind of expectations on it. But just to look at the robot and the car independently, something where it seems like the transformation should be simpler and more straightforward than it is. I can totally still see in this how, with a few parts changes, they could get a perfectly good lockdown out of this toy, out of this engineering. And I'm still expecting that to be the case with the Starseekers capsule. But one of the things I had in mind was, if I felt the right way about Chase, I was going to add it to my, growing Auto Trooper horde, and I don't think I like it enough to buy multiples of it to be a troop toy like that. On its own, as a one-off, it's perfectly fine. It's great to have representation of rescue bots in Generations. People have been asking for that for years and years, the same way Don asked for his Headmaster RC for basically the entirety of his adult life.
I've been asking for rescue bots for at least half as long.
Yeah. So it's great that that exists. This is not a bad toy by any means. It's just not quite the experience that I wanted out of what this was. But I don't hate it. The paint job on mine came out nice. The deco breakdown's really good. I offhand I haven't stopped to see like what parts of it are unpaintable plastic or not to worry about what's going to yellow or not in a few months. Hopefully none of it does, and it will continue looking nice into the foreseeable future. But yeah, it's not the like breakout star I was hoping for. It certainly didn't live up to Don's expectations in that, which were higher than mine. I like his little accessory thing, the claw that you can build and fit over the arm. That's another thing where I can see like a lockdown future in this, because if you take the claw pieces off, the base unit has a 5mm peg that can fit onto the outside of the arm and could easily act as like the EMP projector lockdown head and animated. So like that's another way that you can kind of connect those characters and either leave off those claw pieces or recharacterize them as something else, like the specific hook hand part. Let me take a drink real quick. You probably hear my voice is having a little bit trouble. The other thing I got on topic was from Matt. Thank you, Matt. I have Shattered Glass Sideswipe from the Shattered Glass Hot Rod and Sideswipe 2-pack. I didn't care about having the Hot Rod at all. The deco is perfectly fine on that for a Shattered Glass Hot Rod, but the only black Hot Rod I want is the E-Hobby deco from the MP9 recolor, which
that we will never get.
Evidently not, because I want it too much. But yeah, so it's kind of amazing how many times you can get the same mold with a facelift, and it still is like fun and interesting and feels good. And like this Sideswipe mold really has that quality. So like the new on this is they put a new hood/chest piece on here. So he's got the slash through Autobot symbol molded in. He's got the new robot head. The new robot head looks really, really good too. I really like what they've done with that. The molding on the chest piece is really nice. And Shattered Glass Sideswipe is in G2 Drench colors, I think. Because of the convoluted roundabout way that Shattered Glass Sideswipe was designed through Canceled Universe toys and BotCon toys and etc. It's a whole thing. I like that they added weapons on to be this thing, the baton things that Armada Wheeljack came with. Because Armada Wheeljack was designed to be a Sideswipe and got the wrong name. There's a whole lot of naming weirdness with Armada. Like, Wheeljack obviously was supposed to be Sideswipe. Sideswipe in Armada kind of looked like it was supposed to be Nightbeat, but they named Nightbeat. The motorcycle was named Nightbeat that came with Sideswipe. It's just a whole weird thing going on then. And then, of course, they added the Minicon onto this, which is a whole new thing. It feels very similar to genuine original Armada Minicons, but like just that little bit nicer. The only thing it's missing is the female side 5mm port to plug onto a power links point, but it has a 5mm peg, so all of your modern toys that have the ports on them, it can still interact with that. It doesn't activate any gimmicks, of course, but like it's nice that they kept that functionality in some way. So yeah, I really like this. I'm super glad to have it. Matt, thank you so much for sending this my way.
You are welcome.
That's all my on topics.
So ham sandwiches are exclusive to our Patreon feed at patreon.com/tfradio. And here in our internal chat that you guys can't see, I was giving the guys crap about let's cut the ham sandwich portion short because we're over 90 minutes in. And I shorted myself because I got a package from Sean. And I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and open this now, right before we do this. And I wish I had held off and could have given you a live reaction on the podcast instead of like a 2-minute in reaction. Sean painted me as Vigo from Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, amazing.
Hell,
And you guys are
fantastic.
like
Nice.
heads like
Well, I don't care for that part, but
well, oh my god.
So we
This
were
is-
like the buzzing of flies to him.
Yes. Okay.
Command me, Lord.
This is amazing. So it's got like Metroplex and Triptychon in the back. I'm wearing my Macho Man Slim Jim glasses from like my old Twitter profile. That's amazing.
And we were just talking about
That is-
Ghostbusters 2 in pre-show.
We literally were, and I had no idea.
Sean,
Like, I literally just
Sean
opened
was
this.
saying while we were talking about that Ghostbusters 2 was going to come back up again later, and I didn't know what he meant.
This is amazing. I need to figure out a way to just have this displayed during the show. I don't know that I have a spot to do that, but I will probably put it right here where it can be, where I can see it at all times. That is amazing.
No, you should hang that in the bedroom.
Huh.
Hmm.
Because I just want Kim to be like, what is that?
He is Vigo.
Yeah, that is amazing. I am blown away by that. That is ridiculous and amazing. I guess, I mean, obviously we knew he was talented because of Dawn of the Day, but that is amazing. Thank you. Dawn, I saw you stacking your stuff up, and you can go ahead. I was giving Dawn such crap in our internal chat. I'm like, let's not make noise. Let's not make noise. It's a lot of work for me to fix it. Dawn, just go ahead and make noise. This is for our patrons.
Okay. Well, I mentioned last week that I got, thanks to Rob's website, I got one of the Sailor Mercury figures. They put their free shipping back up again. I got the other
wish I
color
had
Sailor
that
Mercury
same.
and Sailor Jupiter. So I now have the 2 Sailor Scouts that I wanted.
Nice.
I picked up my 4th Steel Clan robot for gargoyles. I now have enough for the display that I want to do.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure, because it was cheap. I got the Cobra Hiss Fire Team in today. Although I do not have the Hiss tank, I have the Fire Team. I picked up one of the $5 retro Lady Jace from Walmart, so that
Somebody
was nice.
had to buy it.
Yeah. Well, $5, I'll buy that. And thanks to some Dononomics, some of the stuff I showed last week went on sale at Target this week. I got my difference back because it was on sale, and I was able to buy the Masters of the Universe Sorcerer's Tila, the Ram Man, and the Clawful, all for about $5 out of pocket because I got my balance. I got the difference back from the other stuff.
Nice.
Today arrived. I read this was going out of print, so I wanted to get it because physical media is always the best way to go.
Yep.
The complete Beetlejuice animated series,
Oh, wow.
How much did you pay for it?
$20.
Very
Okay.
nice.
I forgot what I paid for it. It's worth whatever you pay for it.
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah. It's and with the article I read said it was going out of print, so I figured I better get a copy now. This is a funny show, so I definitely got that. And the last thing came as a gift. There was no note attached, so I'm gonna thank whoever it was.
It's not me. I haven't sent anything out yet.
Okay. One of the shows Christy and I grown to love after discovering it after the fact was The Librarians.
That was me.
That was you. Thank you, Rob.
My pleasure, Don.
It's the complete Librarians TV series and the 3 movies with Noah Wild. So I really appreciate that. This is an underrated gem, and I hope the relaunch / reboot does go ahead now. But I really appreciate that because anything with John Larroquette is a treasure, and this is that.
I basically
what about-
said that on the note that was supposed to be in with it.
What about that episode of House where he ends up hanging himself at the end of it?
I didn't watch House. I don't
He was great in it up until that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hugh Laurie was something that he just never kind of clicked with me on that show.
I mean, I can't really see Don enjoying House.
It's like he's like an evil Quincy, and that didn't set well with me.
Oh, I love that.
he's the best evil Quincy, though.
Yes.
But he's not Quincy. That's the difference.
Well, of course not. He's evil.
Bum, 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 bum. I mean, you can't beat Quincy. I mean, we need a buddy cop movie with Quincy and Columbo. I mean, that right there is your premise right there. But that's
Right,
all.
sure.
Yeah, that's all I got. Ham sandwich this week.
Rob.
Okay. First off, just thank you to Josh Wheeljack64 who got me the movies from the Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes series on Blu-ray. And great series. Catch those if you like Sherlock Holmes. Definitely worth it. Diecast also got me one of the later seasons, the Casebook of Sherlock Holmes. So thank you for that, Diecast.
No problem.
And he also sent me Drunken Master 2, which is the international cut of Legend of Drunken Master, which the Jackie Chan movie, which has some of the best fight choreography you have ever seen in your life. Beyond that, I'll just stick to one non-gift ham thing, which is in the Surgaya order. My quest for an affordable, half-decent Mazinger Z action figure continues. This is like a Super Robot Wars Build-A-Figure kit that is a Mazinger Z figure. Unfortunately, they only had the clear plastic version, so it's still not quite what I'm looking for. The search continues.
One day we will get a Transor Z figure over here, a Mazinger Z figure marketed as a Transor Z figure, and I will buy it just to have something Transor Z on the
Super
shelf.
7 would do that. I don't know that anybody else would do that.
To be honest, since Super 7 did do a Shogun Warriors Mazinger reaction figure that's now stupid expensive, if they were to reissue that on a Transor Z card the way they reissued their Voltron on a Voltron card, I'd be very happy with that. And yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Oh, okay, cool. Who else? Matt?
Yeah, so I got a gift from Amazon. No note. I'm assuming it was diecast. I got another acrylic 4-tiered riser. Love these things. Thank you very much, diecast. I appreciate it.
No problem. There's another thing coming. It was the first thing I ordered, but apparently it's not going to be to you till after Christmas.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was like, I was kind of like, oh crap. So
yeah, a lot of the stuff on my list has like disappeared from Amazon.
Yeah, and I think Amazon is having unusual difficulty getting Christmas delivery. It's surprisingly early this year for stuff to be ETA'd after Christmas.
Well, yeah. I mean, some of the stuff on my list is from sellers with Amazon accounts, not necessarily from Amazon itself. I have a feeling that's what's happening there. I did get one other thing. I bought myself It's Weird, the Al Yankovic story, the 100% true and accurate biopic.
Saw that.
I have not seen that yet. I keep meaning to watch that with Christy.
So wonderful.
Yeah. No, obviously, I've already watched it. It was on the Roku channel.
Yeah.
But a physical media release of it, I had no idea that was coming out.
I did. I've been waiting for about 2 months since I found out Daniel Radcliffe is wonderful.
He's great. He's great in it.
That's it for me this week.
Chris.
Just one off-topic thing, which is thanks to Rob, I have the complete series of Stargate Atlantis now. So that is stage 2 of 3 of having all of the Stargate TV series on physical media, because Matt put a lot of work into getting me most of Stargate SG-1 in individual season sets a few years ago at this point, which has come in handy on many an occasion because Amazon Prime Video has an odd relationship with Stargate as a property where it just kind of comes and goes at complete random. So it's very nice to have as much of it as possible on physical media that I can watch anytime I want to, even though I will, with physical media, always be gripped by horrible indecision of, well, shit, what season, what episode, what disc, I don't know what to watch right now. There used to be at least websites you could go to that had the whole Netflix catalog listed, and you could just you could select a few series or whatever and click a button and it would just randomly pick something from that assortment for you. So it would be as close as possible, just turning on the TV channel and getting whatever random episode is on that day. They're not really that for other streaming services so much that I've seen, and that's a missed market because like there's a lot of people that just cannot actually do the process of like, yes, I want to watch this episode right now, this minute specifically. No, I just want to watch an episode and I don't want to think about it beyond that point. But
Mm-hmm.
when I have no other choice of how to watch this, I will make it happen. So thank you very much for that, Rob.
Sure, happy to.
Oh, diecast.
Ooh, thanks to Target, I got the wave of the build a figure. What was that thing called in the What If series? That was Captain America
Oh,
in
the
that
Hydra Stomper.
armor. Yeah, the Hydra Stomper. That wave was like they clearanced out for like $8 a piece. Most of those figures, so I got them all, except for Nick Fury because I already had him because I had to have a good Nick Fury. But I also got a Tunnel Rat. I got a Tiger Force Outback. I got a Tiger Force Flint. And I don't think this was this was part of the sale. I got a Firefly.
Nice.
Yeah, they were all anywhere from $9 to $12 on sale. It's
That's
like
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like the Flint is one of the ones I got my what $15-$18 back on for the difference that I used towards the He-Man stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, just like it's the sales have been so good in the last like week or two between Target and then I also got today I picked up it's still in the car. I got the one with the Croc, the G.I. Joe Classified
Croc
with
Master.
Master?
Croc
Fiona.
Master. I picked him up for like $12.
Oh, I'm glad y'all told me about that last week. I found one at my Ross, so I was able to send the one to Amazon back and
Oh, good.
save me about $20.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been an expensive week but this stuff's just so cheap right now.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
if
been
they
an expensive week that means, many less expensive weeks before and after.
Yeah, maybe if they dropped their prices a little bit, the stuff would sell a little bit better and then they wouldn't have to clearance it out. I'm not sure. But maybe.
Yeah, we're no financial experts, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
But that's all I got.
Patrons get an ad-free version of the show. You get the podcast a day early, which doesn't mean 24 hours, but you get it the day before. A higher bit rate, a weekly Patreon exclusive pre-show podcast, unedited episodes of RFC, which is exclusive to patrons. If I edit something out of the show, it'll go to the patrons. Hot 5 a week early. Patrons at the Touch tier get to be on Hot 5, and Touch patrons get to be mentioned on the show each week and listed at tfradio.net/credits. Of course, I want to thank Kevin Dorsey, who is cancer-free. That's the best
Hooray.
news. Kevin
Awesome.
texted me today to let me know. I'm so excited to hear that. So, Kevin, you're awesome. Merry Christmas or Happy Solstice. So excited for you and Ellie. So that is great news. Tiger Force's Ninja Consultant, Jason Hiley, Eric Griffin, Rick Mahurin, Ryan Bona, Emmett Stresovich, Rabbits, Hector Bones, Joey Russell, Sean Williamson, Sean, Spider Bob, Jay Klein Rye, different Sean Hamilton, who is the Sean. I don't know why I said that for Sean Williamson, but Sean, you're awesome too. But Sean Hamilton sent me the Vigo, which is amazing. You can tell that I'm tired. I need to go to sleep. But
we're
I can't.
well over time.
We're well over time. I've got to post a podcast after this. Jacob Owen Lucia and Sean Bratton. Want to thank you all. So, let's see here. Rob Springer is not here. He is at Robo-Rob Springer on Twitter and zonebase.org. I am, as soon as we're done recording this, posting, editing, doing some work, and posting his podcast tonight, the Christmas edition of the Transform Squadron podcast. That'll be posted. So when you're listening to this, it'll be, if you're subscribed to the All Transformers podcast feed, you'll see that in there. John Oda not here. He is at that John D everywhere. You can find me at briankilby.com, and I have my new Christmas album posted at briankilby.com. I don't have it listed in the music section. It's listed as a blog post, but I'll get that posted. It is Lean Mean. It's the shortest album that I've done. All of 3 tracks.
It's the Christmas EP we decided last week. Remember?
Yeah, the Christmas EP. Yes. So, but thank you so much for checking that out. All 4 dozen of you, or how many people have listened to it.
Hey, I mean, that's pretty good, though.
Yeah.
I downloaded it today. I haven't listened to it yet.
Awesome. I mean, usually it's 1,000 or so. I don't know, but
Okay.
But it's not. It's only been a couple days, and also I have not promoted it. But yeah, so you can check that out again at briankilby.com. Don, how do people get a hold of you?
I can be reached on Twitter at HMRC, the number 4 EVR. I also have a wish list at tfradio.net/DonList. Oh, and that's it. Okay.
Diecast.
You can follow me on Blue Sky and Twitter at Diecast2. You can like my Facebook page at Reviews by Diecast, and you can see some reviews at tfradio.net/reviews. And I also have an Amazon wish list. If you want to get me something for Christmas, I don't know why, but tfradio.net/Diecast list.
Matt.
I am Melvar on Blue Sky. That's with 3 L's and 2 R's.
Rob?
I'm on Blue Sky at robflails.bsky.social. That is sort of kind of connected to Flail Throughs, my YouTube channel. Still mostly a Gundam gaming YouTube channel. Gundam Battle Operation 2, the game I've been covering since the day it came out and have done over 2,000 videos for. That updates every Wednesday night into Thursday morning, so check out Thursday mornings to see the new video, or the new update for the week, I should say. There's new video every day. If you like what I'm doing over there, patreon.com/flailthroughs. You can request specific suits, specific rounds, things like that. And if you'd just like to send me something for Christmas or any other reason, tfradio.net/playlist, and thank you.
And Chris?
I'm Chris RTXV on Blue Sky. My website is playwithphotography.com, where there's galleries, toy photography articles, and things of that nature. My Amazon wish list is at tfradio.net Chris list, and as we talked about earlier, it's probably past the cutoff point for Amazon to be able to deliver before Christmas at this point, but don't let that stop you, because I don't mind, stuff coming after or just any time in general. I'm equally grateful for anything anyone chooses to send me any time of year. It's amazing anytime someone does that. So thank you all so much. And thank you guys too for thinking of me at this time of year. But I think that'll about do it for me.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Merry Christmas, and we will see you all next week. Bye.
Take care.
See you, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Happy holidays.
Recording stopped.
Okay, people watching live, I am so dead. I'm going to kill the stream.
We must go. Our planet needs us.
Well, yeah, our planet. Thank you. Bye, Twitch. And YouTube in a second, you'll be gone as well as soon as I can find my.
I just stopped my recording.
You're fine. YouTube.
Well, yes, but I should still stop the recording.
Yeah.
I'm glad you don't need it, but I probably shouldn't let it go all night.
So this, I mean, the thing